Hi, I'm Chloe Schnur. I am a content marketing manager with Fastbreak AI. Today I am joined with Terry Hasseltine with the Maryland Sports Commission. Terry, thank you so much for doing this. I
Well,
really appreciate it.
our pleasure. Love talking to people about what we do and how we do it.
So if you could start off, if you could tell me a little bit about your role with the Sports Commission and what you do.
I'm the executive director of the Maryland Sports Commission, as I like to say. I'm responsible for heads and beds, food and belly, gas and cars, credit card and cash on counters, and butts and seats, the economic matrix of sports tourism in the state of Maryland.
How do your events connect across the state?
Well, we created a statewide collaborative called Team Maryland, which brings all of our destination marketing organizations together to promote Maryland as one destination. And then we subdivide the product out throughout the state based on inventory, based on rights holder demands and needs, based on what the activity truly wants and needs out of an activity. So we have the shoreline on the eastern shore, Ocean City, Worcester, Wycomico on the lower eastern shore. Then you get into metropolitan central Maryland, and then you get into the capital region, and then you get to the south and to the west. So we have mountains to the west, ocean to the east, major metropolitan down the center, and then rural areas surrounding it.
With all of those events, it's super important to be looking at the types of data that you can pull from it, being in tourism. Prior to using Fastbreak Pulse, what were some of the tools that you used to capture those insights and engagements?
It was search and destroy. It was trying to find the best information out there using multiple sources, everything from traditional media extraction to research and data behind the scenes, hiring interns to help us find the data, and then using things like analytics on the back of various social media sites and the like. And now we obviously have a more sophisticated system, a more sophisticated way of getting that information that didn't exist when this thing started 17 years ago.
And when you go through all of those things, were there any challenges that kept arising? What were some of them?
Consistency. I mean, the data consistency, going to multiple sources, getting multiple reads. An event that was $25 million in California or something like that would come here and it was a $3 million event. We're sitting here like, where did the additional $22 million go? And it was all because all these independent authorities out there giving independent reports. We are now streamlining our sophistication, not only how we measure economic data, but also how we measure social influence data to make sure there's continuity and consistency coming out of the state of Maryland through our office, so that when we report, we can tell you exactly where it came from and not a hodgepodge of different type of activities to get us that data.
That's great. And prior to using Fastbreak Pulse, how did you find it? Did we find you? Did you guys find us? And what made you realize it aligned with your needs at the time?
Well, it's a combo pack of all that stuff. So between Robert and Jennifer, and then a myriad of other people within the organization, going to the various conferences and trade shows we go to in the industry, there seemed like it could be a natural synergy in the conversations we were having with one another, and therefore a marriage was formed. And using Fastbreak AI Pulse has been a great addition to our family here in Maryland.
Can you share an example of an event that you used Pulse for?
Yeah, we recently had the 2024 Go Bowling Military Bowl in Annapolis. We used Fastbreak AI Pulse to help us quantify where guests were coming from, what their interests were while they were in town, where they were, getting their food, where they were, staying and all that stuff. And it gave us a really, complete, thorough analysis of what our guests looked like coming to our event. And we didn't really know where they were coming from. We were making assumptions based on where the teams were traveling in from, but it really gave us a really deep dive into the analytics of what our travelers wanted and needed, and therefore it set the standard of care for what we want in the future.
And what would you say are the most meaningful types of data for the commission?
I think it's demographics, spending patterns, what they're expecting when they come to an event. They want hotels close by. Are they looking for world-class entertainment venues? Are they willing to travel a little bit further and maybe stay outside of where the base of the activity is happening? And so it gives us a really better understanding of how we can build the future portfolio of advertising, delivery standards, and making sure that we're hitting the economic thresholds that we look at when we're providing grant money to some of our events.
Absolutely. And as someone that's responsible for communicating impact, how important is it for you in terms of accessibility and clarity for your data to be presented?
Well, we always, in this environment, always had people who wanted to attack data. And they want to, but with Fastbreak AI, Pulse, and their family of tools, and then us using the direct spending impact associated with DI, and like, we're going to reputable sources. And so the challenge that we maybe saw back when we first started 17 years ago, we're not having those challenges anymore because the sources are legitimate, they're verifiable, and there's also background to where those data points came from. It's not just, like I said, a random search and destroy. There's actually concrete methodology behind the study. And don't get me wrong, even in today's world, you can still fight it, but not as vigorous as it once was.
How do you see tools like Pulse changing how sports commissions nationwide advocate for their role in economic development and community engagement?
Well, the more sophisticated and the more data-driven our culture has become, it's better tools for us to go to state leadership, city leadership, and county leadership here in the state of Maryland and create a really solid, concrete argument as to why we need more tools and resources in our queue, why we need more grant dollars to share with our clients and our events, because at the end of the day, we're in a very competitive space, and this field is getting more and more competitive as the years go on. And therefore, when we can go to Annapolis and make the argument, or to City Hall and make the argument, or to the County Council and make the argument, and we can show this robust data that's been collected through very viable sources, our argument is only strengthened. And therefore, we're like E.F. Hutton back in the day. When E.F. Hutton spoke, everybody listened. We want when Maryland Sports Commission speaks, everybody listens.
If a fellow commission leader asked you why they should be paying more attention to event impact data, what would you say to them?
Well, if you're not paying attention to it, then why are we doing the activities that we're doing? The whole purpose behind is to show economic growth, how we're helping quality of life for Marylanders, and how we're showing that we're providing opportunities and resources and tools back to the communities in which host these events. Mm-hmm. If you don't have the right data in the set, what's your argument? So we need to create a case for why we do what we do, and using Fastbreak AI Pulse is the backbone to why we do what we do.
And last question, what excites you the most about the future of sports events and sports tourism in Maryland?
Oh, that's a loaded question. I'm really excited about the future of sports tourism in the state of Maryland. I think all of our partners, we're all rowing in the same direction, trying to showcase why Maryland is the premier destination for not only domestic events, but international events. And what it really excites me is that we're just basically opening the can on this thing. And we have a lot more content and a lot more tools to put into our toolkit. So I hope the next 17 years are as dynamic as the first 17 years. And hopefully we're sitting down 50 years from now and I'm telling you the story about how all this came together as we built systematically throughout the years.
That's amazing. Yeah. Thank you so much,
Oh,
Terry.
my pleasure. Thank you.